their adversaries, the Italian mob.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday Show. And there's two of us here today. Hello, Russ.
This is true. I hope you don't mind me just gate crashing. What is Wednesday's your show?
You're very, very welcome, sir.
Very
In fact, would you mind opening the show? I just need to do something for 1 minute.
Of course. Goodbye. Oh, he's gone. Hi, everybody. Go away. What a day I've had so far. Dear God. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Kane, and this is the Midday Show. Normally, Neil Longie Long, the king of NLP, looks after everything. But I decided, because I'm so knee-deep in eulogies and orders of service and difficult things, I thought, you know what? I'm going to jump on and drive Neil mad, because basically that is my role in life, just to drive Neil Long completely mad. I hope you're okay. Went to the chemist this morning, right? Get my prescription for the endless drugs that I'm on, right? And I say, can I have this? I just want that from the list. Of course. Don't want anything else? No, thank you. Got everything else? Just want those. I've run out of those. Right. Can you come back in 2 or 3 days? I go, well, no, not really. Kind of I'd like them now, because otherwise there are side effects which are not great. And he goes, oh, well, I'll get them in 2 or 3 days. Big chemist, by the way. So I said, you haven't got any? Like 2 or 3 of the capsules just to get me going? He goes, well, I can't do that. I go, okay. So I start to walk out of the chemist, and I thought, no, I'm going back. I'm going back in. Go back in. I go, you haven't got this stuff? Oh, yeah, we've got it. Well, could I have it? Yeah, absolutely. I thought one of us is going mad. Anyway, so I came out with 2 complete packs. Who the hell knows? Life, eh? Like and subscribe. As I say on all the American YouTube channels, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I don't know why they're so aggressive about it. God only knows, probably because they're American. Just go on YouTube and you can watch. Right, Neil Longie Long, the king of NLP, and his guest, of whom I know nothing, is back. Right.
Greetings. Thank you very much indeed, Ross. Welcome to the Midday Show. Shall we bring our guest on?
It would be your guest, I prefer to say. There we are. How lovely.
Hello.
Lovely.
Hello, gentlemen.
There you go. That's
Here we
better.
go. Prime place on the screen. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Can you hear us?
Yes, sorry. I thought you were addressing your audience. Thank you very much. I'm here.
No, we're addressing you.
We're addressing you.
Lovely to have you here, Sylvia.
I gathered that in the end, yes.
Thank you so much for being on. You responded to a post that I put on the light bulb.
Yes.
And I would just like to hear all about it, because it sounds absolutely fascinating what you do, and you've got quite the story. So please go ahead.
Okay. Well, where shall I start? I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Sylvia, and I love, practice, and teach TAE. And TAE stands for Tension and Trauma Releasing Exercises.
Oh, right.
It's a somatic practice, so we work with the body. And I help my clients, well, by helping, I say I empower my clients, because I teach, I don't treat them. I teach them how they can safely release tension, which might already have manifested as aches and pains or anxiety or whatever health system you can think of, which is based on, too much tension we are holding in the body because we are too stressed.
Now, I come across something like a little bit, or I think it's like this, and if I'm wrong, tell me.
Mm-hmm.
It was called something like, I can't remember exactly. It was something like total something release. I can't remember it exactly, but it involved a muscle, which I'd never heard of, deep inside my chest. And I heard the way it was taught, it was the kind of, if you watch a nature program and you watch like the leopard chase the deer or yes. whatever, and then or any animal get chased, immediately after the chase, assuming they survive, they shake vigorously.
Yes.
And that's them releasing the stress. And afterwards they've forgotten about it.
Yes.
They don't go to therapists.
My
it doesn't
dog
get
does
sort of
that.
stuck in their system.
My dog shakes,
Absolutely.
Am I on the right lines here?
Yes, you are.
Please tell us more.
So it's what you described And what Ross's dog does is exactly that. They release the stress and the fear or whatever happened in this stressful incident. They release it immediately. Every mammal is genetically encoded to do that, and
including us.
Exactly, and that includes us humans.
Mm.
But we are so much in our brain and in our cognitive mind.
Yep.
And generally, when we have like just the odd argument, maybe with your partner or a client or your boss, your brain overrides your body by saying, don't be ridiculous, don't shake, that's absolutely fine. Only in really, really extreme circumstances, like say you see people after an accident and they get out of their car and then knees are wobbling, or your hands are shaking because you're public speaking, or many women also after childbirth, they have these what they call postpartum shivers. This really is your body helping you to get over the stress, whether that's a physical or an emotional stress.
Just
Much
like
better.
the animals, just like the animals do in the wild. Because as
Just-
soon as you
just
see
like
every animal do it, and I'm sure
Yes.
I can't remember the name of your dog, Russ. Sorry.
Ebony.
Of course, I'm sure Ebony does it as well.
Yes.
You see them shake for a little bit, but then they've
Yes.
forgotten about it, and it
Yes.
strikes me that once an animal's forgotten all about it, they don't go in the pub and moan to all their mates about it.
No, Ebony does.
They
Yeah,
don't go to
always down the
HR
pub.
about
They
it.
don't drink.
They don't drink to get rid of it. They don't take drugs to get rid of it. They don't go to the police about it. They don't go to therapists about
No,
it.
Ebony does all of that. Police are all
So, well, she's a very intelligent dog, Russ.
well, unbelievable.
So why is the animal kingdom so good at doing something that was natural and we're not? Why are we doing this to ourselves, as it were?
Well, we are also so clever. Our bodies are designed to be that clever as the dog, as clever as the lion in the wild.
No, I don't feel it's our bodies that are the non-clever ones. I think it's our minds, isn't it?
Yes, but initially, kind of innately and instinctively, we have that in us. We just need to rediscover the gift.
Right.
Yeah. So we still have this gift inside of us. We just have forgotten about it.
Right.
Or society has put this label of anything that is shaky is negative. So it's either an illness,
Yes.
or it's being out of control, or it's having an epileptic fit,
Or looking silly, even.
or exactly out of control, looking silly, and so on and so on. Yeah. So that's the negative connection or association.
But really, it's what we need. It's what we need to be doing. It's designed by nature, for mammals, us. And it's great that there's people like yourselves and these other folks that I met, because I thought it was a similar thing, putting this work out in the world. And it's no small thing, Russ. I mean, they teach this to firefighters, people that encounter great stress every day. It's in the services. I think they might teach it to the police. Anyone that would come up naturally against stress every day. Certainly firefighters, I know they're teaching it too. So how does it work?
Yes,
Sylvia?
indeed.
Give us the geeky bit, the science. How does it work?
Can I go back to how it got discovered?
You
Of
may.
course.
The forum is yours.
So to set the foundation right. So there is the creator of TAE is a gentleman, an American called David Berceli, and he worked an awful lot in war zones as a therapist. He helped people overcoming these awful situations, and he was also helping to negotiate deals with. But yes, he was a lot in war zones, and he tells the story of him being with a group of people in a shelter while the bombs were going off, and he noticed that the children were shaking and the adults weren't. And this is that's a learned experience. The kids are so doing it naturally because they are scared and they shake, and the adults didn't. So afterwards, David Berceli asked the adults, "Why weren't you shaking?" And the answer was, well, we don't want to show vulnerability in front of our children.
Ah,
We wanted to be strong. And apparently children lose this instinctive shake when they are, well, 8, 9, 10 years old, because they become too self-conscious
yes.
and again want to be strong and hold it all together and have a stiff upper lip.
But being openly strong or overtly or too strong, yes, there's resilience and there's techniques to move through things, one of which we're talking about now. But that it's not the same as putting on this rigid mask where nothing can penetrate, because eventually one day the mask will come off.
Absolutely.
And then all the stuff that's been shoved down will come up, probably all at once. And that will not be fun. Trust me.
Not be good.
Yes.
And it's a shame that I suppose it's conditioned out of our children. Because I remember that with my own daughter. She was young and 9, 8, and then suddenly it was like a switch. And suddenly self-conscious. And everything became embarrassing, mostly me. But and it's the thing, isn't it? Why would we let embarrassment stop us doing something that's so important, I suppose, is the thought I'm putting forward. So that's how it was invented, and he made that very good.
Well, I mean, he noticed that's normal human behavior, and he looked into that and looked what happens in the body while we are shaking, and realized that really is the body's innate reaction to deal with big stress. And then he went on to compose these exercises, which he then later called TRE, tension and trauma releasing exercises.
Brilliant. And how did you come across it?
Oh, that's a long story, and it has sadly a gap of, well, I think 7 years. But initially, I helped a colleague of mine who was training in TRE around 2013. And all I remember was that, so I was helping her to practice, to have another body to practice on. And I've always been really open and interested in all kind of, I don't want to call it alternative health, but complementary and holistic health modalities.
And somatic, certainly, yeah.
What was the word?
Somatic.
Somatic and holistic health.
Holistic, I know. What is somatic?
Somatic, we work with the body.
Okay.
Yeah, soma's the body.
Soma, is it the Latin for body, soma?
I think it's Greek.
Greek, okay.
I mean, I think, I'm not entirely sure. But
it was one of the two. It was a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a good one.
Yeah, but soma means body, Russ, yeah.
Yes. So we work with the body, and I've generally been interested in holistic therapies because there's so much we can do rather than popping a pill or whatever. So anyway, she practiced on me, and all I remember was it was a bit weird. So you need to imagine I was lying on the floor in the butterfly position. So on my back. Butterfly position is when you have your feet sole to sole, and then your knees go out. So have like.
This is exactly what I did. This is exactly the day course that I took. Exactly that. Yeah.
Blimey.
And then you bring your knees towards each other. So you shift your legs. And at one stage, when your body feels safe enough to let go, you will start tremoring. And this is the TRE process. So I remember, as I said, it's a bit odd because we don't do that every day. And also, I remember it was deeply relaxing, and I had the best good night's sleep afterwards, because not only did the tension leave my body, I was also down regulating my nervous system. So I was on a much better baseline.
So you were going from essentially beta brain waves, maybe a touch of fight or flight, stress, to the more relaxed alpha wave. You went from sympathetic to parasympathetic.
Absolutely.
And Sylvia, this was after one thing with you doing the butterfly business?
Yes, this was after one session.
Okay.
Yes.
It can be very quick, can't it?
Yes, I mean, when I teach clients, I start really, really slowly because I always say, yes, it's only a wee shake, but it goes really, really deeply. And I don't want to overwhelm client system. So
No.
when you teach, or when I teach you, when you work with me, we might only tremor for half a minute in the first session. So your body gets slowly used to, what is happening? What does it feel like? Because there's so much going on in the body, from central pattern generators going up and down the spine, and to also explain, it is so different from dancing wildly. I mean, everybody knows the Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off.
Yes.
And this is what we do in TAE. But when you shake it off in Taylor Swift style, you might be dancing wildly through your kitchen, and you're, I'd say, in total control of how you move your arms and your legs, and you
Yes,
dance
absolutely.
wildly.
I think that song was written as a kickback to Kanye West, personally, if I remember rightly. But
The only Taylor Swift song I know.
yeah,
I
The
don't know any others.
most important
Don't
one
name
to
me
know.
one.
The most important one, absolutely.
Right.
But having said that, in TAE, the tremoring is involuntary. So many people say to me, I've seen you tremoring, or I've seen clips on YouTube, and I want to do it like that. No, you don't do it like somebody else. You don't control it. You tremor in the way your body wants to release the tension.
right.
So your body does it totally involuntarily. We are not thinking about it. We are not directing it in any way. We just be and allow our system to let go
And the body
of
will
the tension.
release at a rate that is right for us if we allow it to.
If we allow it to, and if we listen to our body, because some people, or people who are not being trained properly, they overdo it. I recently read something. Somebody was shaking for 20 minutes, and
Oh,
then he was
God.
out of action for 3 days. Yes, because they have overwhelmed their system.
Right.
You can re-traumatize.
So how do you,
people.
Sylvia, forgive me, how
Yes.
do you know when to stop? I mean, I've never heard of this. Neil's obviously done it. I've never heard of it. I'm coming to it completely new.
Mm-hmm,
So you're lying on your floor.
mm-hmm,
You put the soles of your feet together,
mm-hmm,
and you slowly bring your knees together, and suddenly you start to shake.
mm-hmm.
Right? When do you know to stop and not be
Well,
like the person you've just described?
yes, it's my job to guide my clients safely and
Right.
to watch and observe and check in with them how they feel.
When I
What
was
their
taught,
history, health history is, trauma history.
so you take a full history, you find out about them beforehand. Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got a
When I
health
was taught it,
question.
we were told quite sternly on the day course that I did, don't teach other people to do this. Let a trained practitioner do it.
Oh yeah.
Don't try and teach people to do it. So it's got to be done right, obviously.
So Neil, when you did it, here you are. You're the perfect specimen, guinea pig, if you like. You did it. You didn't know what, I didn't know what the phrase is. Patient. All right. So you go down. You'd never done this before. How did it feel? I never knew you did this, by the way. How did it feel?
Interesting, a little weird, but a lot of these somatic things look weird, but they're like tapping EFT. I mean, that
no. But I want to no. Don't go on a digress. I want to know how you felt when you're lying there and you start to shake. What's that feel like?
It feels like a sort of a, if you let it happen, a sort of deep release of maybe stress that you've been holding for a very long time.
Did you feel better when it afterwards?
But perhaps stress you didn't even know you were holding. If you hold something for so long, it just seems normal.
Yes.
But excuse me, but it's not normal. And it's only when you've had a contrast that you could. It's a bit like London isn't a particularly friendly place. You go up north and people are friendly, but there's no comparison until you've left London. So until you know there's something different, you can't compare the two. And it was like, so there is greater stress release available.
Somebody might say hello to you.
Yeah.
Yes. That's nicely put, Neil. Or I mean, it's your experience. That's no judgment if it was nice, but it reminds me of a journalist I worked with in the past, and she was exactly saying that she was tremoring for not even a minute, if I remember correctly. And then afterwards she said, gosh, my jaw, my face feels so much lighter. It feels like I just had a facial, and
Huh.
I wasn't aware
Yeah.
I'm holding so much tension in my
much
jaw.
cheaper than a facelift, I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the arguments, really, Neil.
I
because
realize I
one-
grind my teeth a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm aware of it, you
Yeah.
know,
that's
because I got a million things running through my head, and I got
Yes.
umpteen schedules I'm trying to
Yes.
balance, and I realize I'm like
Yeah.
chewing the side of my face.
Because
Yeah.
we do store stress in
Yes.
the
Oh
body,
yeah.
don't
Oh,
we?
yeah.
The
We
body
need
keeps the score. Yes.
Gabor Mate.
Basil van der Kolk, but similar,
Right.
amazing.
Okay.
They're swearing
Yes.
at each other. I've no idea. They're
Well,
swearing in another language.
we'll let you in, Ross. Basil van der Kolk is an American, well, originally Belgium,
Yep.
psychotherapist who wrote this amazing bestseller in 2014, so 11 years ago, called The Body Keeps the Score. And he is describing in this bestseller from his practice when seeing people for psychotherapy. And he also emphasizes that it's not just all up here. And he really clearly says we need to bring the body into account because the body keeps the score. Whether it's not like the firefighters you were mentioning earlier on, or somebody, it doesn't have to be necessarily big T trauma. So the really, really big, scary things that have happened to us, it could be just the normal day-to-day stresses.
Just building up that's not released. The understanding I got of it, I remember seeing a quite a funny meme. It was kind of parodying these kind of treatments, but it was quite tastefully done. And it was the typical therapist in the flowing robes, and probably talked in a voice like this, dear. And she said, issues in your tissues, my dear, issues in your tissues.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the analogy I got was that we do have these stresses. We don't see them as stresses. Again, we just see it as normal. A bill doesn't get paid. You have a row with someone. The boss chews you out. Someone cuts you up in traffic. But so we get all these cortisol responses, these fight or flight responses. But there's nowhere for it to go. Back in the day, if people were being chased, I don't know, from an evolutionary point of view, by a saber-toothed tiger or something, they can shake it off. They can run it out. They can get rid of it. Now all we can do is go home and swear or play the drums.
No. This is what I do. By the side of my desk, because I'm at my desk for hours and hours and hours, I have my practice pad. I have my Vic Firth drumsticks, and I release through my drumming.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Works every time.
Yes. Yes.
But I have to concentrate on what I'm doing because of certain patterns and improving. But also, it just takes me out of that little loop, you know.
And the neighbours can't stand him.
Out here.
Wait till I get my double Premiere kit. They'll be upset.
But Ross, that's exactly it. You're going into your body. You're doing something somatically.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. And the mind and body are linked. So if you change one, you're going to change the other, aren't you? I've got another wonderful teacher that says that basically human beings are basically heads on legs, if you know what I mean. In other words, we're up in our heads all the time, and we need to ground. We need to he teaches like grounding exercises, ground.
Yes.
Particularly if you're engaging in personal growth work, the higher up you go, the more grounded you have to be. It's a bilateral thing, apparently.
But Sylvia, the problem is the way that we live now. I'm writing all the time. That's what I do. And I'm there all the time staring at a screen. I live in my head. I don't do, apart from what I just showed you, I don't do it. I'm walking my dog. That's it. I don't do anything else. Very difficult when you live in your head the whole time to try and switch off.
Absolutely.
And they always say, it's a slight digression, forgive me, before you go to bed, don't watch TV, switch off your phone, blah, 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 blah. If I don't try to decompress by watching YouTube and utter nonsenses about, cars or food or whatever it might be, my favorite Greg Gutfield, etc. I couldn't sleep.
Yes.
I have to get myself that tired before I can pretend to go to sleep, because I just live in my head the whole time. Yeah. Oh no. Now, watching in from Spain, Sylvia, is Chrissy Richards. -5 here. What happened to I'm off to sunny Spain, Viva España? -5. Blimey. Well, stay warm, Chrissy. There we go. Let's see. This is very, very interesting. So, Sylvia, I've had to ask the $1 million question. Would it be, I'm going to use the word dangerous, or let's just calm that term down with ill-advised. If I was to go now and lie down on the floor and practice what you've done, unsupervised, would that be a dumb thing to do? That would be bad.
Potentially, but not necessarily. Many clients I work with either say, I tried it and I can't get my body to tremor.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah. And what I described is the actual tremoring process. I didn't describe the preparation work we do before we get into the tremoring process.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you can, so when I teach, we start with 6 warm-up exercises, which help our muscles to, fatigue, to, tire out our muscles. And once they are tired, it's just easier to achieve the tremor. Every person can tremor. As I said, it's a very innate process. But it's easier when your muscles are tired. You might notice that after a run or in the gym, and your legs slightly tremor.
It's slightly. I thought that was in all seriousness, I thought that was lactic acid.
Yes, this
that's
is
causing that
exhaustion of the muscle.
Yeah.
And then, most importantly, I guide my clients, as Neil said, grounding is so important because we are all up here. I guide my clients through grounding meditation, because the most important thing in TAE is that you feel safe and grounded. If you don't feel safe, you won't your brain won't allow your body.
I read quite a blunt quote on that recently. Only recently I came across this. It said, "You'll never feel safe until you can feel your feet."
What does that
Pretty
mean?
much.
What does that mean?
It means you're stuck in our heads all the time, and until you can feel your feet on the ground, then you won't be grounded in your body, and you'll just be flying around in your thoughts all the time, because we can scare ourselves. I mean, we can make ourselves ill or well with our thoughts, can't we? I mean, our thoughts are pretty.
Do you ever, Neil? I've never asked you. Do you ever switch off? Do you?
Kind of.
I've known you forever. Do you ever just I don't know, feel your feet, as you say?
Yes, I have started taking more time. I spent the whole day in bed the other day, and that was actually really lovely.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. How decadent, eh? But the fact that I say how decadent shows how
I was about to jump in. Because it's so fascinating. You and I both think exactly alike. We think, oh, I can't do this. That's disgraceful. Logically, you could say, well, screw it. Of course I can. If I want to stay in bed all day, I'll stay in bed all day. I don't have a boss. What's going to happen? The world will still keep turning. It'll be that. But we can't, because we're driven. I think we're driven.
But from what you said, Sylvia, are we being driven by the right thing? Surely the most important thing would be to get ourselves strong in mind and body and then go about our activities. Otherwise, we're operating from quite an empty tank, aren't we? Maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, it's self-care. Some people call it we are driven. Other people say, well, yeah, but I need a bit of self-care. And especially if you're self-employed, there's no HR department or no well-being program in your company.
No.
No, my bed is my well-being program.
Well, yeah,
that is your HR as well.
This is self-care. Yeah. Or as some clients said to me just recently, well, when I'm stressed, my mechanism is I just work more. But this isn't self-care. We need to, as you said, Neil, get out of the body and the mind and the constantly revolving thoughts and really, just be. Some people meditate. Other people go for a run. Obviously, TAE is one option I can offer.
Anything to get out of our heads and into our bodies.
Yeah.
essentially. What is the name of the muscle that it operates from? The muscle.
The psoas muscle.
Right.
The psoas muscle is the muscle which holds connects your trunk with your legs.
Right.
It's also called the muscle of the soul because it stores an awful lot of emotion. So,
and where is it? Where's it located?
in your kind of lower abdomen, lower part of your trunk.
Okay.
So yeah, as I said, it connects the legs with your body.
Yeah.
It's a really big muscle. Called the muscle of the soul.
Sylvia, how come we've never heard of it? I've never heard one expert. We've had hundreds of people on these shows, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. No one's ever mentioned this before. How come?
Sadly, TRE is still very niche. But I always say it's nothing new agey. It's nothing woo-woo. It really is our innate reaction to heal and help ourselves. And I'm really on a mission to let people know how amazing our bodies are, because we can do so much. I mean, the majority of health issues are based on too much tension in the body. I mean, you probably notice that yourself when you're stressed. You shoulder.
Yeah, my shoulders are killing me now.
Absolutely. We are looking into our screens, into our devices, into our phones. Other people have digestive issues because that's the brain body axis.
I'm ticking all your boxes, Sylvia. I gotta tell you.
I'm saying you're my ideal client, but
trust me, I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm really not.
No, the people who are my ideal clients are people who say, I know I can pop a pill. I know I can see my physio, but I also believe that I and my body is clever enough to help and support myself.
And that's great self-knowledge, because we're not taught how amazing our bodies are. But if you even think about it now, the fact that we can sit here and have this conversation, that neurons are firing and the processes are going on, 1 million processes going on in all our bodies as we sit. In one sense, we're all miracles on legs, really, when you really stop and think about how it works. Absolutely. It's just unbelievable.
I'm going to struggle to hold that thought, Longie. I'm going to tell you, the day I've got ahead of me, I'm going to struggle to hold a thought that I'm a miracle on legs.
Well, there you go. Stick it on your fridge.
Yeah, appreciate your body and your mind and everything you can do with it.
I wish
Absolutely.
I could. It's very interesting. Graham Pack made a very interesting point. When he's not being silly, he makes brilliant points. He says, I've got a small speaker under my pillow, not the guy from the House of Commons, obviously, and have the radio on when I go to bed. I find this helps me go to sleep pretty quickly. If I'm really stressed out, will listen to one of my audiobooks, and that just chills me out completely. I find that works for me very well. Yeah, really.
But isn't that more an intellectual thing, though? Isn't that stimulating the mind more, Sylvia?
No, it just chills me out totally. I find my audiobooks chill me out. I get so relaxed listening. I go into the zone of the story. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then your mind supports your body. I mean, you said it before, Neil. It's one unit. It's not separate.
And the muscle that you speak of, it's such a key part of all this, which is weird that none of us have heard of it. Are there any yoga moves that involve this muscle? I mean, it must have been discovered somewhere in the human history.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a well-known muscle, but we don't say, hello, how are you? How's your psoas muscle going? I mean that's.
It wouldn't be my opening line on a date, no, to be honest with you.
Oh, come on, Neil, you've used worse. How do you spell this? How do you spell?
PSOAS, psoas muscle.
Okay.
And can I just, thanks for bringing us back to the muscle, Neil, because it's not only referred to as the muscle of the soul because it stores so many emotions, it's also called the fight or flight muscle. So we are holding chronic tension and kind of contraction in this muscle. And when we are in the fight or flight mode and our nervous system is on high alert, this is all playing into this equation. So by working with the psoas muscle, helping our body to release the tension, down regulating an overly active nervous system, we are helping us overall, whether that is chronic aches and pains, digestive issues, or even things like anxiety or menopausal irritability or
It's
anger
almost like
issues.
a hub of everything, and you fix
Yeah.
that hub, and it works outwards from there. Am I right to say that? Is that where
Yes.
the most tension's stored?
Be-
It kind of all
because-
goes there first.
Yes, we work at the root of the issue. We don't mask anything. Yeah, we work at
Well,
the root
this
of
is the
the
thing,
issue.
because contemporary medicine will. Before I say that, can you just tell me how to spell it again? I'll pop it on the screen.
PSORUS.
AS.
P.
A for apple or alpha.
Oh.
We tend to like that.
Yes, yes.
We
yes.
tend to treat the symptoms, and I think we've all got a bit addicted to the easy way: a pill for every ill, pop a pill. But then that can just get addicted to pills, and all they do is really suppress symptoms.
Yes.
So your body might not ache anymore because the painkillers kicked in. But if you release the stress, there'd be no need for any painkillers probably in the first place.
Well,
Yes.
You know, it goes back to cause, not effect, doesn't it?
Yes, and I mean we've seen what happened with the opium crisis and the whole medical issues, and I mean having said that, I said earlier on, a big majority of our health issues and symptoms are based on tension, and this
Right.
is definitely where GAE can help and support us. Once the tension is gone, aches and pains can ease. People feel less anxious, less angry, and generally just more resilient. People notice their relationships are getting better because they are not constantly in this fight or flight and I need
On
to
edge,
fire back.
yeah.
Exactly. But if something obviously is seriously wrong, like say you have a tumor on your spine and that's what's
God
causing
forbid.
the headache, TAE can't help. So you need the surgery or you need whatever you need. But the if we work or if you want to address the issues which are based on too much tension in the body,
A great
huge
preventative. I mean,
variety.
you could argue it's a great preventative as well for potential illness, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
eventually it will manifest physically, won't it?
Yeah. Tension over time manifests as aches and pains. Absolutely. But
All right.
Neil, may I ask you? You
may.
went to this workshop.
Yeah.
When was that roughly?
Oh goodness. Oh, it's before lockdown, maybe 2019.
Okay. So you remember that, but are you still practicing?
No. No, I'm not.
So
And I asked myself why. I'm going to do that.
Why?
Because my girlfriend's just come round. So after the show, I'm going to demonstrate. She's gonna
Easy, fella.
She already does.
so you just went on this workshop and thought it cures all ill, or you are
no. I didn't
sorted
think
for.
that, and I practiced it for a couple of days, and then you kind of forget, don't you? And things
Yes.
get distracted. But you know, these things do need applying. It's
Yes.
like buying a self-help book and not reading it and becoming part of the self-help movement.
No, if you just hold
You
the
know.
covers of the books, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If that works for you, wonderful.
Well, yeah, just hold it or put it to your head.
Wonderful.
It'll work.
When something happens to someone and they said I had this sinking feeling in my stomach, is that something to do with it?
Well, this is generally the brain digestive, like tummy connection, the brain gut axis. Yes, which again can be addressed by downregulating the nervous system in a somatic way. So we feel we are becoming calmer. Yes.
Got an interesting question for you. There was a lady at the workshop, and her words, not mine. She said, "On paper, I should be happy." She said, "I've got the husband, the nice house, the 2.4 kids, the golden retriever, plenty of money, but I'm not." Can it? And I remember thinking at the time, you know, good luck to her. Can it help with something like that? Is that a bit of a crazy question?
Well, there's no such thing as a crazy question, but it's like, I don't know what the answer is. It can potentially. I mean, if somebody who is maybe disconnected from themselves,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, some people don't even feel their bodies anymore because, I mean, this is really big T trauma, and people who are like, have learned as a coping mechanism to distance themselves
And totally
from,
disassociate from their own
yes,
bodies. Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know this woman, and I don't know what, but I mean, if we then get into our bodies again and kind of, reset,
It's a step to, I suppose it's a step to know yourself, isn't it? Oh,
yes,
wait a minute. I do have some feeling here. Let's explore this. I suppose it
yes,
could be certainly a step in the right direction.
yes,
I don't know who she is. I don't even remember her that well, but I wish her well.
yes.
So after you.
So if people want to get hold of you, Sylvia, how do they just go tremendoustre.co.uk?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
the easiest, and then from there you see the socials. And
Anything
And
else you'd like
are
to
you
share
based in
while
London?
we're-
I'm so sorry, Neil. Are you based in London,
Sorry.
or where are you based? I've no idea where you're based.
I'm in East Kent.
East Kent. Okay.
In East Kent, but I teach, I'd say probably 98% of all my clients online
Ah,
because it's, well, first of all, easier, and then also much more relaxing for the client to stay in their own space where they feel safe. And
yeah.
then after a session, you're generally really relaxed. And you don't need to drive home. You don't need to jump on public transport. I have many sessions in the early evening, and then people say, do you know what? I just retire to my sofa or
Yeah.
have an early night.
Do you know, because everyone wants to feel safe, don't they? And I think
Mhm.
most people make that mistake of looking for safety, if you like, in the out. I don't want to sound like the Buddha, but looking for safety in the outer world.
Yes.
But if we can get a real sense of embodied safety
Yes.
within yourself, then what's going on in the outside world doesn't really matter as much, does
Yes.
it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And I mean, this is the resilience I mentioned earlier.
Yes, quite.
Through practicing and supporting your body, you build up resilience. And then whatever life throws at you, you deal with it in a just, more, composed and calm way rather than.
And things tend to
firing.
work out better when we're composed and calm, because
Yeah.
I said it before on this show, if we go into fight or flight, the prefrontal
Yes.
cortex, in other words, the bit that makes the good decisions, gets shut down.
Yes.
And it's the limbic system running the show, and that
Which
can
is
get messy.
why we're always so much better at giving really pretty decent advice to other people and rubbish advice to ourselves. Guarantee.
Potentially.
Everyone says to me, "Oh, thank you. You know, you've really." I think, gee, if I could work out my own life, I'd be a genius. Sort out everybody else. Can't sort myself out at all. Sylvia, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Neil, what a fabulous guest. Bless
Thank
you
you.
for
Tremendous
finding this
TRE.
tremendous person.
.co.uk, tremendoustre.co.uk. Thank you for responding to my message on Lightbulb, Sylvia. It's been
Thank you for
lovely
posting
to
it.
meet you. What I'll do, if you I've got your email address. No, I haven't. We've been talking on Messenger, haven't we? If you want to pop your email address in Messenger, I'll send you this footage as a memento, or feel free to use for any marketing purposes, as seen on the Midday Show. All of that. Feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get the word out, because I want more people to know and realize how amazing our bodies are.
Well, it's such a powerful tool. I mean, if they're rolling it out to people in the services like the fire service, it's got to be pretty good, isn't it? And you know,
it started when David Berceli then came back or returned to America, and he worked a lot with veterans and addressed PTSD issues. I mean, it's just, but it, as I said, it doesn't have to be big T trauma, just really the stresses of day-to-day life.
Just looking at the news would do it.
But the fact that it can, the fact that it can address so-called big T and little T everyday trauma, it's just so good to know, because I think one of the worst things is you think you're the only one, you're stuck in this situation. If it's a mental health issue, by the very nature of that, and any mental health issue seems isolating, and you feel like you're the only one, which could not be further from the truth.
Absolutely.
But to know, number one, you're not the only one, and number two, there are practical tools that can really help you, empower you to take care of yourself, and great people like you teaching it. That's good to know. Thank you, Sylvia.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for your invitation. And
it's been a pleasure and an honor, madam.
Delightful to meet you, Sylvia. Thank you so much. Good luck with everything. I hope it all goes.
Remember your dog and its wisdom.
When I come back, I'm coming back as a mini schnauzer. That's it. Bye, Sylvia. Bye.
Take care, Sylvia. Bye-bye.
Absolutely lovely person.
Charming.
Charming lady. What is light bulb, fella? No idea what that is. You were talking about
you've never heard of the bulb?
No, I have not.
It's a place where journos and people looking for people for articles, they punt things. It's just basically journos. Where
do you find this thing?
Google light bulb. I'll do it now. Hold on.
All right. Okay. No, we did that gag, Mr. Pack. We did that.
Has he started again?
Hey, now I'm going to change the subject, gang. I'm going to change the old subject here. About people being nice and people not being nice. Neil and I, over the years, I've known Neil forever, right? And sometimes people are really lovely, and sometimes people are really shit. Okay, that's how it works. And the other day, my lovely friend Charmaine Davis, who's a wonderful actress, stand-up comedian, load of adverts you see on telly, and we're just mates, and she lives down in Brighton, and she said, I'm up in London. Well, you're running a big business, Graham, that's why you're running an international empire there, fellas, be honest about it. And light bulb hangout, okay.
And it is a place, I can tell you, I'm looking at the website now, an entrepreneur and press hangout, so basically anyone's welcome there apart from Graham. No, I'm teasing. It's a good place, and the girl that runs it, Charlotte, she's a good girl. It's a good thing. So yeah, check it out.
Okay, I like that. Anyway, so she said, "Do you want to meet up?" And I went, "Yeah, we'll meet up. I'm in London for a few days." And so I took her to a little private club that I'm a member of called the CAA, which is the Concert and Artists Association. Wonderfully quaint, old-fashioned little tiny place in Covent Garden, where turns hang out. You have to call them turns these days. It's as away from trendy as you can imagine. The reverse of trendy. Lovely little cozy place. And at the next table's Sue Pollard.
I remember her.
Yeah, Heidi High, right? And Charmaine leans across the table to me and says, "Oh my God, Sue Pollard." I said, "Yeah, I know Sue." She says, "She was my inspiration." I said, "What do you mean she was your inspiration?" She said, after watching her,
she wanted to be a yellow coat.
I wanted to be a red coat and a blue coat. And I went off to become a red coat and a blue coat. Then I got into entertainment and blah, 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 blah. So I said, "Oh, well, I'll introduce you." So we walk across this little tiny place. We're having our lunch in the little tiny club. And I said, "Sue's my friend Charmaine." Now, here's the thing. Neil and I often talk about it takes no longer to be nice to somebody than it does to be rude.
Oh, you're not going to say she was horrible, are you?
No. Of course I'm not, because it's Sue. Anyway, she was in a meeting with 4 blokes, and I said, "Sorry to interrupt. It's my friend Charmaine, and she just wanted to meet you. You were her inspiration." And unlike so many people that Neil and I have met over the years, she immediately jumped up, gave me a big hug, gave Charmaine a big hug, and then chatted to us for 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's lovely.
How lovely when you meet someone who's inspired you. And they're even lovelier when you meet them.
Well, it is. They do say never meet your heroes, don't they?
And it's true. Don't. It's always a disappointment. But Sue was great. And I was just, I mean, she's a charming one. And the thing about Sue Pollard, unlike so many people, she's exactly the same on as when she's the same person. It's not an act. Whereas so many of the people
is that what her personality is like? All excitable like that?
Yes, no, she's exactly like that. That's who she is. It's not a routine. It's not a routine. When there's been.
I always remember that in Heidi High. I want to be a yellow coat.
Miss Cathcart's gonna kill me.
Yeah,
What was that?
she was the cleaner in Heidi High. That's it, wasn't
No,
she?
was he? Of course she was. Miss Cathcart.
Yeah.
That. I once saw Sue Pollard at the railway station. It was eccentric. Well, she's just delightful. I mean, she's just very funny and nice. But it was so nice when somebody was as Sue would. Well, she kind of would. We'd have to pick a subject, and then Neil and I would just go away, make a 3-course meal, come back, and Sue would still be.
Oh, I'd love to meet Sue Pollard. I'll get her on
You've
the
never
show.
met her. She's absolutely charming.
I would settle for a virtual meeting.
Oh, okay. But it was just a nice thing when people are, as I said, I met Helen Lederer.
Well,
yeah,
you
Helen
can
Lederer
make
is
a
very
difference.
nice.
You can make a difference. I mean, occasionally I joke about being the local D-list celebrity. I'm not much cop, but occasionally I've done someone's wedding.
Stop.
They've heard me on the radio.
You would not allow me to get away saying that. Stop it.
It's a good joke. It makes people laugh. But when people meet you, if you're nice to them, they don't half remember it because they kind of expect you to be
horrible.
And perhaps you owe it to them.
A lot of people are horrible. A lot of people.
But of course, anyone can have a bad day.
But don't take it out on other people. In fact, you're having a shitty day is not that person's fault.
Agreed.
And it is difficult. It is difficult. But people want to be. A lot of people want you to be horrible so they can go and say, I met that Neil Long. What a horrible guy. He seems so nice. People, they can't wait because they love to spread bad news. That's human nature. Helen Lederer is delightful. I used to go to Helen Lederer's Christmas parties. And she'd go, no one's going to come. No one's going to come. I said, Helen, it's always, you can't breathe. It's like the underground at rush hour normally. No one's going to come. Oh, God, I've got all this food. And within like 20 minutes, it's heaving there. I said, really? No one's going to come, Helen? You couldn't. Did
you know Tony Slattery?
Well, yes, I did.
Sad news.
I think we should pay tribute to Tony.
Yes.
I have to say that doing improv is one of the hardest things. And if you can either do it or you can't do it. You can't really teach it. Don't care what anyone says. And Tony Slattery, on Whose Line Is It Anyway, was brilliant. A brilliant, handsome fellow. And at one point, Tony Slattery was all over our television screens. There wasn't a show that he basically wasn't on. I think the only thing he wasn't on, like a vet program or something. He was everywhere. And then disappeared. And I knew that he had his demons. He had a lot of problems. He had a lot. I'm not going to go into details. Let's just say he had a lot of problems. I think I'd be more polite to say that. And when I did the, I'm telling this story kind of against myself. When I did the Edinburgh Fringe, it was 5 years ago when I took my one-man show up there. And I was at an after-show bash. Because people were very kind and very generous. They were lovely. Lovely atmosphere. And they said, there's Tony Slattery. In my head, I'm thinking, well, this kind of youngish, good-looking, marvelous Tony. So I said, where? He said, he's over there. I said, I'm so sorry. Forgive me for being thick. I can't see him. He says, the guy there. And I'm like, Jesus. Wasn't good. He looked terrible. Anyway, I was a big admirer. It was a small little do. It wasn't in a big room or anything. So I went over and said, hello, Tony. It's lovely to meet you. I've admired you. And we got on to a chatting. We met a couple of times up there at the Edinburgh Fringe. And he was sweet. He was charming. So self-depreciatory, kind. But in my heart, I hope I'm allowed to say this and people don't take offense. I thought, you are so lost. I just thought, man, you are just freaking lost. And he was just lovely. He was lovely, but he looked in bad shape.
Yeah.
And then yesterday he passed away from a heart attack. He was, I think, 65. That was all.
That's right.
And everybody came out and said how much they admired him, which you never would have known. I don't think he would have accepted that, Neil, you know?
Well, it's another Howard Hughes, isn't it? They're so good at what they do and completely self.
Jeez.
You can't. Again, we
Jeez.
we don't see that we. I read a term this morning. Actually, it's a Jungian term, and Jung talked a lot about the shadow, which is not bad parts of ourselves, but disowned. And the way it shows up is we can point at that person and go, "I can't stand that." When you're basically that yourself, they call it projecting. But there's
yes.
Yeah, but there's also its inverse, which is called the golden shadow, which is wonderful things you see in other people, which you have, but you don't acknowledge them in yourself. So you kind of, that other person is your mirror, essentially. And that's the golden shadow, when we should be claiming these things in ourselves. There's a quite a pithy phrase. If you spot it,
it's a lovely thing. I wish we were kinder to ourselves, but
it's if you spot it, you've got it. So if you really admire someone, then consider that you must have these qualities and traits within yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what you were looking for. It wouldn't even be on your radar. So, it's a question of, because we always tend to look into ourselves probably in a bad way and go, oh, that's wrong,
always.
That's wrong, that's wrong.
Always,
but
every single time.
There's probably an awful lot more right than there is wrong, an awful lot more. And that's the term golden shadow.
I'm not sure. Brian's point's interesting, but I'm not sure I always agree with it, Brian. Brian's saying this, unfortunately, when people become famous, it causes problems they never thought they could possibly have. I hear what you're saying. I think Tony's problems were much, much deeper.
I think I would say, Brian, it magnifies your problems. So to the average man walking down the street, they're just problems. But then suddenly, if you're in the media spotlight, everyone's looking and forensically taking apart your life. It magnifies it a hell of a lot. That's what fame does, I think. It can magnify the...
I think what it also does, Longie, is this. If you're a complete twerp to start with, or no, let's be grown up. If you're an unpleasant person to start with, and suddenly you're a big star and you're a cash cow to some company and you're famous and you're making people a lot of money, it enables that person to allow their nasty nature to run riot because they're bulletproof. Why? Because people need them, because people are making money out of them.
Yeah, because it's said money doesn't corrupt, it reveals. So if you're not that
100%,
if you're not that person
100%,
anyway,
100%.
you won't become that person. If you do become that person, you were it already.
If it's not within you, you won't become a nasty person. If it's within you to start, it just gets, as Neil rightly said, he used the wonderful term, it gets magnified. I think with Tony Slattery, he certainly had mental problems, which he was very open about. He was very open about that, and he had addiction problems, especially with alcohol.
Oh, did he?
Which was all too visible up at the Edinburgh Fringe. I guess the feeling I get is like, what a waste. I wish someone could just have given him a bit. And he had a husband, by the way. It wasn't like he was on his own and destitute and all this.
He was a gay man, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was gay, and which is neither, it's neither here.
No, of course.
As long as somebody, I mean, the point is, as long as someone's there to love you, that's all that matters.
Doesn't matter.
That's really all that matters,
Of course it is.
Wow. It's just to say you feel you want to do a sort of an emotional hug and say, it's okay. Let's get you back on track. But sometimes, Graham has said this. Have I got the right thing? Some people go past the point of no return, unable to get back. Yeah. It's a shame. He was a very talented and extremely nice man. He didn't have to be nice to me. I was nothing to him. Didn't have to be pleasant. Didn't have to talk to me. He was very sweet. And he was amazed that, oh God, I think he was amazed people remembered him. But we're all going, oh my God, it's Tony Slattery. We all love this guy.
Yeah.
Never occurred to him. I think he was amazed.
But if you're depressed or down, you would think badly of yourself. You think, why would anyone want to know me? That's classic depression thoughts. I'm a waste of space. Classic depression thoughts.
He clearly suffered.
Because these thoughts they're just not true.
But they seem so three-dimensional. They seem
they do, but they're
so
not.
They've
They've got no basis in reality.
I know, but God, they freaking haunt us the whole time. Can I ask you a question? I want to change the subject completely, by the way. Are you finding it hard? It's a serious question. When I see the footage of what's going on in Los Angeles and the surrounding area, an area that I know very, very well, do you find it hard to believe it's real? Do you?
No.
Are we so conditioned to AI and like Michael Bay movies? I look at it and I'm going, oh, wow. It's almost hard.
No,
to
but I
take
know
in.
what you mean. I'm familiar with the concept because on 9/11, when the planes went into the
Oh,
towers,
God. Oh, geez.
that seemed surreal.
Unbelievable.
I felt I was watching a Bruce Willis movie and it took a while to sink in. So I know the concept you speak of very, very well. But on this one, no, not particularly.
Not being helped, by the way, because some idiots, they're obviously very talented, but they are making AI films of this. And everyone's going, oh, it's a terrible, isn't it a shame? Oh, poor. And I'm going, this isn't real. The footage you're watching now on Facebook or wherever, this is AI. This isn't real. You can tell by the cars because it's not perfect. It's very good, but it's not perfect. The real footage is horrific enough. And again, as I keep saying, everybody on the Midday Show, me, Neil, Phil, Chantel, Jonathan, all the gang, everybody sends our love. It feels useless, doesn't it? It sends our love. Send best wishes to all our friends, colleagues, and everyone we know out in the Los Angeles area. The one thing that is bugging me a bit.
Go on.
Is everyone's going, oh, this star has lost their home. That star, yeah, on a human level, absolutely horrible. But these stars are multimillionaires. They still have the plot of land, which they can either build on or not, which has a value. They will bounce back. Yes, they've lost their possessions are one thing, memorabilia and things which are close to your heart, that's irreplaceable. I understand that completely. Please don't think I'm being no. But the other people, all the thousands and thousands of people who are not Hollywood stars, who are never going to crawl from, I don't know how they're going to recover from this wreckage.
Well, no.
I don't, and they never talk because they're not interested in the bloke who's the gardener or the electrician who's got a keep fit shop. They couldn't give a monkeys. What they care about is some A-list star who's, yeah, it's horrible. But I feel horribly sorry for the people who are not famous, who don't have millions in the bank, who God only knows. And these businesses probably won't come back. Oh, well, Mel Gibson is God has a great sense of humor, doesn't he? Mel Gibson. Yeah, you would moan if your blooming
Mel
house.
Gibson's anagram of big melons.
Is it? And the lovely Anne Sidney. We love Anne Sidney. She's such a nice woman. What a charming woman she is.
Speaking of a lovely lady, I've had a nice text from Sylvia, our guest. She says,
oh,
thank you,
right.
Neil.
Okay, please read it out.
She's prepared. I've already prepared my LB post, light bulb. Thanks so much for the invite. And restart your shaking practice. I will do, Sylvia. I absolutely. But I can see her smiling.
If this was a music show, we'd end the show with shaking all over, but we won't.
I know. I'm gonna go and show my girlfriend my psoas muscle. That's what I'm gonna do.
And that's just put me off my lunch, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Neil, thank you for letting me crash. Thank you for letting me crash.
That'll make her start shaking, probably. I'm just releasing your tension, darling.
Your show, fella. I'll be back on Friday.
Yes, with all the gang, with Chantel and Phil and
Phil and everybody else.
And I'll see you Monday.
Then, all right, stay out of trouble, gang. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Oh, I can't end.